left to catch Skywalker. He leads by 4 with the furlong to the wire. Precision at the second. Turkoman closing third. Skywalker is still there. And then it is. Precision is Turkoman with one late move. But it is too late. And Skywalker, an upset winner.
Well, horse racing is this time of the year, and we're lucky to be joined by somebody who knows the sport inside and out. In fact, it's in his own family and it's his blood, I believe, is really where it is. Michael Whittingham actually trained that Skywalker you just there. His father, Charles, as well, a successful horse trainer himself. So the Kentucky Derby is Saturday, but I mean, your career, your father's career, there's so much that goes into it. Can you talk about being there Derby Day and what that all is like to have a horse sitting in the middle of that?
That's, you know, the holy grail of racing, the Derby. There's nothing more fun than getting up in the morning and watching your horse go out and gallop under the twin spires. You feel like you've reached a pinnacle when you, and walking the horses to the paddock in the afternoon, the massive crowd that's there. Now, when I was growing up, there were a lot of crowds at the races anyway, but now still the Derby, it's a big crowd cheering, you know, get your heart running.
Absolutely. So, and there's so much work that people don't see that goes into finding that right time and having the horses peak and everything. As a trainer, what was your role to get all that to happen right?
Well, you design a program, you know, that builds them up to the races. And, you know, in the beginning you pick races for them and you build them up. And if they're good enough, you know, you hope you're going to the Derby. It's rare.
It is rare. Only a few horses make it. I guess, what, 18 or 20 this year total by the time we're finished. Talk to me about that Skywalker race. In case anybody's know, the Breeders' Cup is probably just one level down from the Triple Crown, if not on the same level.
Yeah,
and to have Skywalker win.
To me, it's much more important now.
Okay.
The Breeders' Cup now is 2 days. But that was the biggest race in the world then. It was 3 million then. It's a lot more now. But it was the biggest race. And now it has big implications on Horse of the Year to win the Breeders' Cup, because they come from all over the world, and Europeans and the Japanese have become prevalent. So it's a big deal. I think, to me, next to the Derby, the Classic is the next race.
Any way to describe what that was like, watching Skywalker lead and go all the way in for you on that one too?
Oh, I was jumping in the air, running to the winner's circle. I said, he's not going to get caught.
Well, you were an amazing trainer yourself, but your dad, really legendary. There's even a book here that we got Whittingham. So, I mean, your dad did some incredible things and has a lot of names of horses that people will recognize too.
He does. He was in the Hall of Fame for 13 years before he won the Derby. He didn't particularly like the Derby, and he said, if I get a horse, and he did with Bill Shoemaker, a long shot, came from the one hole, last horse to win from the one hole. So,
wow.
And then 3 years later, he had Sunday Silence and won it again. So, you know, once he went once, he said, you know, everybody in the world knows me as a horse trainer, but when you win the Derby, everybody in the world knows you, period. Because it's the one race everybody watches.
Well, everybody's going to be watching 2:30 on Saturday on NBC right here. That's when everything starts for this. You're going to be at our Kentucky Derby party as well over at the Old Pink House, which should be great. I'm sure lots of people have lots of questions. Of course, the question that everybody here wants to know is who's going to win this year, because we all have to make those millions. So
you know, it's journalism's race to lose. He looks like the strongest horse, but there's some other contenders, and I'm interested to watch Baeza, who was second to him in the Santa Anita Derby. He got in when Baffert's other horse scratched, and I would be interested because he's lightly raced. Will he make enough of a jump?
Right.
You know.
Well, journalism, you know, we're rooting for journalism here because we have to.
Yeah.
By nature. So.
Exactly.
Mr. Whittingham, thank you so much. And he'll be at the Old Pink House tomorrow for our Derby party that we're part of. And tomorrow at 2:30 right here on WSAV, you get to watch the Derby itself. Of course, on the Peacock app too, but it should be a lot of fun. And the fastest and the best 2 minutes in sports,
and
right?
there's lots of other good races along with it. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Whittingham, for coming in.
Welcome.
We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Derby Day is here.
Yeah.
Scott, to you.